Hello and welcome to information about your Responsible Patienthood project. I'm going to go through some of the details about the project and just help you remember what we talked about in lab, and then also show you some of the resources that I've put on Blackboard for you. So if you're in your lab Blackboard page, on the left hand side you'll see that it says Responsible Patienthood Project. And if you click on that, it will give you a list of various things that you can use for the responsible patienthood. The first thing that it's going to show is it's going to show the Responsible Patienthood Project Dropbox. And this is where you're going to be able to post your assignment. So when your PowerPoint is all done and you're ready to post it, you'll click on the Responsible Patienthood Dropbox. You will see down here it says to browse my computer, and you will click on that, and then you will find your PowerPoint that you want to use. So my PowerPoint is back here in my Responsible Patienthood folder, and I am going to pick my project that I'm going to post and open that. And you can see here that it says the Manning treatment of patent foramino valley. There's the PowerPoint that this particular individual has saved. I'm going to agree to submit mine through SafeAssign so that we can check for plagiarism. If you want to make any comments to me, you can type them in here. You don't have to, but that's an option. And then you'll click on Submit. And you'll be able to see it'll generate a preview, and it'll be able to show you that your assignment has been posted. So that's what this one's doing right now. So it'll be able to actually see the whole PowerPoint. You can go through and take a look at the whole thing. If we go back to this Responsible Patienthood project, we can also look. I have a few other things for you. The Responsible Patienthood project, this first one here that says click here to view document, if you click on this one, it will actually bring up, let me open that up for you, the assignment. So you can see, let's look at the view and get the one page so you can see this whole thing. Page width, there we go. So this is the assignment page that I gave you in lab. So if you lost yours and you need to find it again, that's where it is. So it tells you about the assignment, gives you some general information, talks about when your project was due, when you sign up for it. It also then gives you a checklist, so you can see what I'm looking for in each thing. So it talks a little bit about the title of the organization. It goes through the prognosis and research, all of those various things that you can take a look at. And then it also shows you the rubric. So when I actually grade your assignment, it goes through each part of it and shows what I'm going to be looking for in each section. So you can take a look at that rubric and make sure that you've met all of those components of it. So that gives you a basic overview of what's going on with the assignment. The next one is a sample project, and so this is a PowerPoint that I made up for you to take a look at, and we'll open that one so you can see exactly what's going on with it. So I made this particular one up on osteoporosis, but it basically goes through and shows you what's going on in a presentation so that you can do something similar when you make yours. So an introductory page, make sure that you have the title of your condition, make sure you have the treatment. So this is postmenopausal osteoporosis is the condition, and ibandronate or Boniva is the treatment that we're going to be using for this. Make sure you put your name in here, what's going on with it as far as anatomy and physiology. Put your date in here. You can put your instructor's name in there as well. That'd be great. On the second page, you're going to talk about conditions and symptoms. Make sure when you do this, we're looking at something that you would be presenting to a group of people. So we don't want to have large paragraphs of information, but rather what you would like to see are these bullet points. So look at the symptoms, see if you can summarize them down and put them in a bullet point manner. Also, make sure you'll note at the bottom of the slide, I have a citation, an in-text citation. So this is where I found this particular piece of information. You are not plagiarizing because you've correctly cited it here. I threw in a picture. You don't have to, just to show what the postural changes are. This should have a citation as well. Etiology, this is the cause. What causes this condition to happen? And again, bullet points kind of go through and tell me what's going on with this cause. And make sure that it's cited as far as where you found that information. Prognosis. What's going to happen if this individual is not treated? You can also include if they have this treatment, this is how it will help their prognosis. Again, make sure that you see these citations down here so that I know where you got this information. If you found this information from more than one place, then you can include multiple citations at the bottom. You don't have to make it real big. It can be small, but it does need to have the citation in it. Once you've done the prognosis, then what you want to do is you want to look at your focus clinical trial. So whatever study that you looked at of the 3 research articles that we talked about, you want to find the one that makes the most sense to you, and you're going to focus on that one. And you're going to give me some very specific pieces of information. So in this particular case, the article that I picked, the first author was Miller, and so you'll notice that I put Miller as the first author, and a correct APA in-text citation, if there's more than one author, is to include et al., which means all the rest. Notice there's no periods here. It's Latin. Add a comma, and then put the date of that article in there. You need this citation. It tells me what you actually studied and came up with where you got your information for your PowerPoint. If you don't have that citation, it will cause you to lose significant points on this paper because I then have no idea where you got it, and I'm going to assume that you made the information up. The first thing you're going to do is read through that article, and you're going to find the hypothesis and write it out for me in your own words. Do not use the exact wording that you find in the article. If your article doesn't have a hypothesis but rather has the objective, that's fine. Just change this title from hypothesis to objective. The next thing that you'll do is you'll tell me about the study design. How did these scientists, these researchers, determine whether or not how they were going to study this hypothesis? So you'll notice in the hypothesis it says that it's basically looking at whether changing the drug dosage is going to change the patient's outcomes when it comes to their osteoporosis. And so when we look at the study design, you can see they did exactly that. They took these individuals and put them into a study. They looked at how much they could move. They looked at their osteoporosis. They measured all of that. And then they gave some of the individuals daily medication, monthly medication. They changed the amounts of those medications, and they researched all of this to see whether or not what would happen with their hypothesis. I also want you to look at the independent and the dependent variables for the study. The independent variables are going to tell you what the researchers could change. So in this particular case, the researchers could change the drug dosage. They could change how much these individuals got, and they could change how often these individuals got it. These were both independent variables. The researchers could change it. The dependent variables are exactly that. It's going to, those are going to be the results that depend on the independent variable. So they're looking at the percent change from baseline in lumbar spinal bone density after a year. They're looking at it in the hip after a year. They're looking at the measures of bone reabsorption and determining whether or not any of these independent variables affected the dependent variables. So you need to look at your study and find an independent and a dependent variable. Then you're going to give me the results. You're going to start out by telling me about the results in words. So here we talked about the lumbar spine bone mass density, and it talks about the changes in it depending on what the regimen was. And then I would like you to show me the results in some type of graph, figure, or table. You're going to get that from your paper. There should be graphs on the results. Make sure that your graph is about the result and not about the demographics or where these individuals were coming from or the age of these individuals. None of that. That's not what I'm interested in. I want to know about the results. So you're going to find a graph or a figure or a table and put this in here. So this will be here. Underneath it, make sure that you give me an explanation about the graph that you just put in there. Okay, so make sure you put in your own words what this means. Don't copy the graph directly and then not give me in your own words what the graph is telling us. I gave you then some more results, and then I'm going to put another chart in as well. Okay. And at the end, you're going to tell me a conclusion about this particular study. The first part of the conclusion is you should tell me whether the hypothesis was supported. So did the study agree with what was said in the hypothesis, or was the hypothesis refuted? Did the study not agree with that? And then you'll give me some basic conclusions that the authors make. Your research article that you look at will definitely have a conclusions or discussion section, and you should be able to summarize again with bullet points. These are the big concluding facts that they found when they did this study. You'll then look at your other two peer-reviewed articles, and you're going to do something similar, but not in as much depth. So let me show you. Again, you'll see I said that this was supporting research. I gave the citation for the article that I used. And now all you need to do on this one is tell me what the hypothesis, try to summarize that, put it in your own words. Basic study design, again, not as much detail as what I went into for my focus study. Tell me the basic results. You don't have to do any charts on this one, just in general, what were the results and what was the conclusion. Okay, so you do that for two studies. So here's the second supporting research. Now you can do, if one of the studies actually refutes your original one, that's fine. You can say that this is a refuting research, and that's okay with that. I'm okay with that. Just make sure you go through the details. Here's the hypothesis, here's the study design, here are the results, and here's the conclusion. All right, and then you will have side effects and contraindications. And when I edit this, I want to make sure that in my editing, I want to put in a citation. So I'm actually going to insert a text box in here. And I'm going to say that I found these when I was looking at the Delmas et al. 2006 article. Okay, and so I included the side effects. These are the things that happen if I take this particular medication, and the contraindications are people who shouldn't be taking this medication. So often when you look at over-the-counter prescriptions, or I'm sorry, drugs, you will see that the typical contraindication is if you're pregnant, don't take this medication without checking with your doctor first. If there are not any side effects or contraindications, that's fine. Keep the slide in there, but just tell me there aren't. So side effects, go ahead and put in here and say side effects, none were given, or contraindications, not applicable at this time, or couldn't find any, or something along that line. Don't skip the slide, because then I'll just assume that you didn't bother doing it, but let me know that, hey, I researched it, and from what I could tell, there weren't any side effects or there weren't any contraindications. Last but not least is the point of view slide. This is the big slide, and it's probably one of the hardest ones for people to wrap their their brains around initially. But once you figure it out, I think you're going to find this to be really valuable. This is where I want you to tell me if you had this condition, or if a family member or a friend had this condition and they were given this treatment option, would you choose this treatment option or not? I want you to tell me whether you would choose it or not based on evidence. So for instance, if you wanted to know if a family friend had osteoporosis and you wanted to know whether or not you would use this particular Boniva medication, one of the things that you may state is that in the Miller trial, they found that there were significant increases in both lumbar and hip biomass density. You might also say that I would definitely choose the treatment where you only have to take one pill a month because I'm more likely to remember that than I am one pill a day. But I want you to pull information from these research studies. Don't just say, I think I would tell them to do that because it looks like the better option, but give me evidence from the research that you have done. All right. You don't have to do specific citations in here, but I want you to pull that evidence from, Miller et al. And Delmas et al. And tell me about what they say. If you disagree and say, no, there's no way I would recommend this, then let me know. What would you choose instead? Why did you think this would be a better option? Last but not least, you should have a literature cited page or two. It might be 2 slides just to get everything in. They should be at least 7 resources. They should be relatively current. I would like them within the last 7 years. If you get older than that, check with me first before that you use them. You need at least 3 of them to be from peer-reviewed journal articles. And then the rest can be from, for instance, your Martini textbook, a nursing textbook, other journals, websites, reputable websites, so things that are .org or like WebMD, places where they have authors and are legitimate websites. Make sure that you use APA as your formatting, and I will change this. It will be on the PowerPoint. We've changed where to find that APA formatting, and I'll make that correct, but I don't have that information right now. So I will fix that for you so that it'll be on this PowerPoint when you go to look at it. All right. The other things that you will find in Blackboard is there's also a sample clinical focus article. So the focus article that I used for the PowerPoint, I printed it out and I marked on it where I found things. So you can scroll through here, you can see where I found the hypothesis, where I found the independent and dependent variables, the results that I used, all of those things I marked. So you can take a look at it just to see how I found things, so that maybe you can use that information to help you find things when you look at your articles. Whoops. Let's go back to my Blackboard website. Sorry about that. Okay, so other things that you'll find in there, down below you will find where to go to find these peer-reviewed journal articles. So the PA College Library has great journal article resources, and if you click on this, it will take you to the health science library. You can be home and doing this, you can be at school and do this, and then you can type in your keywords. So osteoporosis and Boniva and hit search. And it gives me a whole list of articles that are available. There's a couple of things that we can do to limit it. If I want to do peer reviewed, I want to make sure that everything is peer reviewed, I can do that. If I want to make sure that they're only coming from academic journals, I can click on that one. I can also change the publication date if you want to make sure you have it within the right time. And then you can see here that some of these actually have full text. So when you click on them, it brings the whole article up that you can read it. You don't have to worry about it. Now this one is not a study, it's just information. But let's see if we can find one that is an actual study. So this one, patients prefer once monthly versus once weekly. So if we take a look at this, it says full text finder. If we click on this one, oh, well, that doesn't help. Um, okay, so this particular article is not available through our library, but we can get it through interlibrary loan. It takes approximately 2 days to be able to get things through interlibrary loan. If you click on this to request this item through interlibrary loan, then you only need to fill out the things where the red asterisks are, so you don't need to worry about library card or department, but you can type your name in, you type your address, your email, your phone number, and when you need it, click submit, and then what you will get is an email PDF version of this from another library. So we have lots and lots of resources out here. Finding this information for your project shouldn't be a problem. If you're struggling with finding it, you can definitely go to the library and talk to our librarians there. They can help you, or you can come see me and I can help you with a little bit of the research as well. Last but not least, if you take a look down at the bottom of this library page where it says resource for distance learners, even though you're not a distance learner, it definitely gives you some help. Some of the things that it will talk to you about is it'll talk to you about how to do research using Discovery. So if you're a little confused on how to use that Discovery button like we just used, you can click on that. It has a video that will show you that one. It will also show you how to use specifically EBSCO and some of the other search operators, but I would start with Discovery first. And lastly, when you look at the Health Science Library website, if you click on Research Review and Citings and Writing, it will talk to you about how to write a citation in this APA formatting. So it'll help you with how to do that whole citation process. So you can take a look at this one and it will help you with writing that through. Okay. Last but not least in the responsible patienthood is the chalk and wire folder. I would like you to be able to submit your project in chalk and wire as well, and this folder will give you the tutorial if you do not have a chalk and wire account already, or if you have a chalk and wire account and it is not currently active, your password has expired, it will tell you how to email, the correct email to go to be able to get that active again. And then there's a chalk and wire login. Once you have your password, you can go to that and it tells you how to go through setting that up and sending it to me. These should be done so when you submit your article to Blackboard, you should submit it to chalk and wire as well. All right, I hope you found this information helpful. If you have any other questions on the project, please let me know. Thanks so much.